Get ready for the immediate cutoff of music. Boy, that transition is great, isn't it? Welcome to the DLLS Stars Pregame Show on a Saturday night alongside Sam Nestler, Craig Ludwig, and our producer, Ryan Vaughters. I am Owen Newkirk, and we are happy to have you here before the Stars play the Calgary Flames. Now, before we get into all the fun, let's talk about Ludz's favorite topic in the world. That would be the face-off collection. Yes. These shirts, if we didn't mention these, Luds would have had a tantrum, maybe a hissy fit, maybe what even pouted in the corner. But don't worry, we mentioned it. These shirts are still on sale at alldls.com. And somebody said something about early next week if you're a diehard. Might get some pre-benefits of some perks later in next week, like what's next Friday. But we'll get into all that. All right, Sam, Luds, let's start with the most exciting thing of this one. No lineup changes other than the goaltenders. Sam, are you surprised at all they're going with Casey DeSmith, who last time out stopped 46 of 48 playing the Calgary Flames, and maybe that was the plan all along?
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. We know this team, not that Vancouver was a star-studded team that was rolling right now either, but Calgary is far from that. They rank last in a lot of categories. They're not scoring a lot of goals. Casey's coming in. He should play tonight. You'd imagine Jake goes up against his rivals in Edmonton on Tuesday. And then we know that Casey's been good against Seattle before. So I think it's good. I think Sean talked about it on our last show. They got to start doing this more and more. Jake he's going to play maybe even more games now than we thought at the Olympics. We need to make sure that he is very much not running out of gas when he needs it most.
Luds, Glen Gulutzan, head coach of the Dallas Stars for the second time, is going to face the Calgary Flames in Calgary as an NHL head coach for the first time since he coached them 2 years, all the way back in 2016 through 2018, I believe were the years. And in doing so, he, of course, was an assistant with Edmonton for 7 seasons. There are only 2 players still on the roster. Rasmus Andersson, who is a AHL guy most of that year, Gully's second with Calgary, played 10 games with the big club, and Michael Backlund. The rest of the roster has turned over, and they, Calgary, are not exactly having a great season, although their president just did a huge interview with Sportsnet and said, we're not tanking, we're not going for Gavin McKenna, that's not in our DNA. And some Flames fans aren't real happy with that.
Well, they've played 22 games this year, I believe it is.
Correct.
And they have 6 wins in regulation.
Woohoo!
I think they've already tanked.
Not on purpose.
But I have to go back to the open. What? Did I see something on there that said ex-wives? So I'm confused. What?
Okay.
I need some splaining.
Let me explain this to you. So on the beginning, I think it was even... Was it practice in Vancouver or it was morning skate? Anyway, it was the interview that Gully had with the media prior to the game with the Vancouver Canucks. It might even have been the one that they hadn't left yet. But he said, somebody brought up, hey, you're playing 3 teams in a row that you've coached in Vancouver, assistant coach with Vancouver, Calgary, their head coach for 2 years, and then Edmonton, assistant for 7. And Gully said, yeah, and he didn't identify the source. Somebody called this my ex-wives tour, which I thought was brilliant. So I mentioned it to Ryan, and that's where the thumbnail came in for our brilliant open today. Gully is going through a tour of his exes in this trip.
Okay. I thought what was in the past stays in the past. But again, this game, if I'm Gully, is probably, being all those circumstances, a little concerning. And I think anytime, we know all the time, and some people want to call it the trap game and all this other kind of stuff. But regardless, it's not a team that's, putting a lot of W's on the board. So, and I think again, being led by number 96, who's probably going to have another big game tonight. And then the guy that I prognosticated will get his 400th tonight. Maybe there's your first 2 stars tonight.
Let's talk about this road success, because you talked about this being a trap game because, again, Calgary has the worst record in the entire
I didn't say NHL. You say it. I didn't say it.
You said the word trap game. We'll play the tape. I promise you that.
Yeah, because you like that word.
Well, think about this. Dallas has the best road percentage point percentage in the NHL. They're playing .800 hockey on the road. They're 7-1-2 away from American Airlines Center, and they've won 4 in a row. Mike Heika, doing an interview with Gully this morning, said that they have the best road record over the last 3 seasons in the entire NHL. Why do you think this team does so well away from Dallas?
I think it's just the competitiveness of the guys, and I think it probably goes a little further than that. I think a lot of times teams that are playing so well on the road, they're a close group, and they enjoy. You got the heat lamps on over there, or
yeah.
I know it's only 30 degrees here, but you seem to be
not here.
Perspiring a bit there, Owen.
Yes, I was hoping.
Did you have to sprint down Highway 121 to get on the show?
I was hoping that Ryan would go to a single shot because, yes, I just got off the bike, thought I had more time, didn't, and now let's just highlight the fact that we're dripping.
Sweaty
over here.
pregame show.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're fine. We're fine. We're totally fine.
So, as I was saying before, I rudely interrupted myself. I just think sometimes that teams are. When they have this kind of success on the road, one thing is they probably have a lot of kids, and players have kids, and they like getting on the road where things are less hectic. But I think it just tells you a lot about the group. To me, we know the Finns, we know how close they are, but I think this group is getting closer and closer to all being Finnish because they seem to. We saw them, or I guess I was there, a couple nights ago at Razor's Deal, or. I shouldn't say Razor. I better say Ralphie and Dewey. Ralphie won't be happy with that. You can just tell that they're a tight group, and I think winning just emboldens that when you're winning and you're close to start with, and there's a belief in this group, right? That they're finding and they believe that they can find a way to take it right down to the last second or two and give themselves a chance to win a hockey game.
Yeah, I mean they're doing everything right. Their goaltending. I think there was a graphic during the last game of the top best save percentage over the last 3 seasons, and Stars were number 2, only behind Connor Hellebuck, basically. But if you look at all their stats, goals for and goals against since 2022-23, what you were just talking about, they're number 1 on the road, and it's in goals against. It's not even very close. They just play a much simpler game when they're on the road. I don't know what it is. There's always the conversation whether it's with Pete, Glen. Now it's like, hey, you guys are okay on the road or okay at home and really good on the other way around. It's usually they're very good on the road consistently. That's why it's so weird when they're not. So this year they're getting better goaltending. They're not allowing a ton of goals. I think they're 10th in goals against on the road. They just play a simpler, easily predictable type of game, and that can be really good because you can get your lines flowing.
Well, one thing Glen Gulutzan was not happy about, guys, was the fact that the Stars, he didn't think played a really great game against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Jake Oettinger was fantastic and helped them steal one, but listen to Gully talk about the issue. Now, remember, this is the team that woke up today 3rd in the entire NHL behind Colorado and Carolina. Carolina won last night, so they have a 1-point advantage over Dallas. But this is what Gully said about the Stars playing off the back foot too much.
Was disappointed with parts of our game in Vancouver, and you could see some frustration leaking into our team. And we've talked a little bit here about we play a little bit too much off our back foot. We're a good team, but we play off our back foot. We don't dictate enough, and that's a challenge for us moving forward. It's a challenge to all our groups, a challenge to our coaching staff that we need to initiate rather than just react, and we don't do that enough for our top team.
What do you think about that, especially for a team that has such a good record that the coaches, remember, this is something Luds and Sam both, I can't get this out of my mind. This is a team that Jim Montgomery talked about a culture of mediocrity. Now, again, this was 6 years ago, but he talked about we win a couple games and this group gets too comfortable. I get the sense that Glen Gulutzan is absolutely insistent that with success, this team does not get too comfortable.
I think Monty would take that right now.
Yes.
He'd love some mediocrity. I think when you continue to have seem to pull some things out of your pocket every night where you're finding games to win, the urgency probably isn't there sometimes at the start of hockey games. And because there's a belief, which again, I guess that's a double-edged sword is, you'd like to get out in front and just continue to roll and have fun and things like that. But again, I know that anytime you're a coach, you're always going to find something. You're going to find something, and you should find something because you want to keep your group thinking about improving until you get to, like I always say, game 83. but yeah, I know it's a problem at times, but they always seem to dig themselves out of it more often than not.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, lads, is like they're so good at it, which is why I've said it on the show before. It's a great trait to have. When you can come back like Game 7 against Colorado, that is a really significant trait to have when in the playoffs. But this team does not dictate very often. And Owen just mentioned back to Jim Montgomery. We're talking with Bones. We're talking with Pete DeBoer. We're talking with all these different coaches where they had to kind of get hit in the mouth a lot of times, especially playing a bad team. You play an Anaheim team, they never came out hot, went up 2-0 and controlled the game. Even this year, game they win 7-0 against Montreal, we all thought they were going to get dominated and go down 3-0 in that first period. They just need to get hit in the face, and that's a good trait to have to be able to do it afterwards. And Jake has shown that he can also do it. But this team, as well as their goaltending, needs to find a way to once in a while set a tone right off the bat, not be in responsive mode, just dictate a game. And you're not going to control it for 60 minutes, but you can start a little better and kind of make them react to you. And I don't see it from this team a lot, which is shocking for a team that's been so good.
Well, it's funny you mentioned goaltending, so let's bring it up. Here's Jake's talking after the game against Vancouver. Not real happy away they started the game.
Yeah, I thought, I didn't think I had my best in the first period, and wasn't happy with, the goals they scored, and just tried to bear down, and I knew, it was 2-2. I felt like we should have been up 2-0 after the first, so I was like, time to buckle in and make some saves, and I did that.
And it's not perfect to have to get yourself in, but it's better to have a goalie that can buckle in and do what he did the rest of the way than one who gives up the soft one and falls to pieces. Luds, you played for a really long time. Sam, you and I have both watched this. I've seen goalies, if they give up an early one, they're going to have a terrible game. Or if they make a couple big saves early, they lock in.
Very mental.
Jake Oettinger seems to be able to have a bad period, as he said, his words, and then say no more the rest of the way.
I think that maybe it's a good thing, to be totally honest with you, because how many times are we going to see and have we seen in playoff games, where goal goes in early, and if you have that belief in yourself and the team has that belief in you, there's really no panic. Again, I can go back to when, we were a team that was very stingy and we only gave up a goal or two a game. And all of a sudden, when a couple goals went in, within halfway through the first period, you'd come into the locker room and there was nobody panicking. We're like, well, we're just going to shut the door, and Mo's going to find a way to put a puck in, or Nieuwendyk, and if we'll have to go, to the second overtime to win a hockey game. So maybe in a way that there's confidence in himself, meaning Jake and Casey, and then there's the confidence of the group in each other, and knowing that goaltender, whoever it is going to shut it down.
Well, listen to Glen Gulutzan talk about Jake's ability to regroup and shut the door.
Well, he's got to find that place, but I think that place starts from pushing himself, and he does. And I didn't hear his interview with you, but I'm glad. He's got to push himself, and our whole entire group is the message this morning is we all need to push ourselves a little bit, because if you want a different result, you got to go to different places. And I really like his mindset, though, that and I've witnessed it a couple times now where he regroups and shuts the door, and that's big for our group.
Maybe if Pete believed in all that, he wouldn't have told them in that playoff game.
Somebody had some Detroit-style pizza, because they're all fired up right now. Attaboy, Luds. Well, let's take this moment to hit that ad break, because we can't go more than 15 minutes without talking about those shirts. So let's do that now and come back and talk a lot more about the Stars and Flames here on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
I was so worried. I thought it had ran out. I thought we ran out of those shirts because they were selling out. And this is the face-off collection. And it's still green and it's still black with 3 stars on there. But everybody seems to like this Dallas hockey one on the green one. And I think we're getting some adult sizes, it sounds like, too. So some normal sized human beings can wear them instead of.
You mean not just Sam sizes?
Not Sam sizes. Yeah. But I do want to bring up a couple shirts. 3 of them, okay, Ryan? Let's hit the Mafia one. Let's hit the Finnish Mafia shirt, because they're the Finnish guys. Oh, yeah. All right. So that everybody loves this shirt. Let's go to the Moose shirt, because the Moose is loose. He's free. He's not in jail, not sitting out or nothing like that. And then most importantly, Let's get to the one that is the visor one that I don't know why we have a visor on there, because it should say the captain hits 400 tonight. That's what
Ooh.
I see a 4 up there on his forehead. So that's that 400 goal, and he might even, that one is an assist. So there you go. Don't let me down.
2-point night. He's calling it. Go ahead, Sammy.
That's beauty. I think we get some people joining the supporters club tonight too. Maybe not 400, but definitely a few, especially if T.O. wants to hand some more
How
out.
about if Jamie scores number 400, we get 400 super chat or 400 supporters club? That's a lot to ask for.
Well, if you join the supporters club, you get exclusive emojis like the one you're seeing in the bottom of your screen there, and plenty more, including Craig Ludwig, which is the best one so far. The more people that join, the more emojis we get. You get an exclusive badge so you can pop out in the chat, and some hilarious behind-the-scenes footage to see the boys hanging out in the studio, answering ridiculous questions, all kinds of fun stuff. So join the supporters club now.
All right, guys, let's talk about, the Calgary Flames. First, we'll hear from Gully. Then we're going to hear from Ryan Huska, the head coach of the Flames. So here's Gulutzan. It's funny because he was asked about coming back to Calgary. They have a home there. They have family in the area. It's comfortable. It's not weird, though, coming back now because he's been in Edmonton for so long. But don't you think that this is going to be a pushover game?
I look at them as a whole, and I think it's going to be a really big test for our guys. Don't look at the record. They are a hard-working, structured team that was just outside the playoffs a year ago. Got off to a hard start here, but they play with passion, and they make you work, and they make you compete. And so I think it's going to be coming off that Vancouver game where I thought we were only good for about a period. I think we're gonna have to put in a solid 3 here.
Lutz is laughing. He's got his head down.
I just feel sorry for Gully because he's trying to come up with some kind of an adjective that his players are going to hear that gives them a little bit of again, you're trying to come up with something so you can express the urgency for a game, and every other team has come in here and they've done this and that team isn't doing this. And so, again, even though they're playing so well right now, if they dropped it, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but you don't want to let it start. It's game 2 of a road trip, and, you got a couple left after this. You want to be able to at least get out of this I would say they'd want to get out of this road trip 3-1. And so This is one that should be in the win column.
Well, let me give you a couple of numbers because it does look a little better if you frame it like this. Calgary 6-13-3. That doesn't sound very good. They are last place in the Pacific, but they did beat Buffalo 6-2 on Wednesday night on the road. And the Flames, after you ready for this? 4-12-2 start. That's right, a 27.8 point percentage in their first 18 games, where they were a -20 goal differential. They're 2-1-1 in their last 4. That's much better. That's over 500, and they're +2. So progress. Ryan Huska. Ryan, let's go to the second clip because that makes more sense in this segue on what he wants to replicate from his team from the Buffalo win.
I would say probably the collective 60 minutes. I thought we did a good job in that game. Our penalty kill when it needed to kill penalties did a good job of taking the momentum away from their top players, I thought, when they were on the ice. And I thought we fed off that energy as a team, but we didn't give them a ton. And I think when you look at our team, when we check the right way and play a really structured game, that's when we're at our best. And we feel like, when we do a job in that area, the offensive side takes care of itself. And that was a night where, we had a few lucky goals, but we had a few really nice goals based on how we were playing the game as well. So we'd like to, replicate that if we can tonight.
So think about that. A team in Buffalo who absolutely is all over the place thrashed Chicago last night 9-3, but they gave up a 6-2 loss to the Flames. Lud's just like Gully's trying to grasp any straw to get that not trap game. Ryan Huska's trying to find any positivity he can show from his group.
Yeah, he's trying to back up a game, where Gully's trying to say, let's not take our foot off the gas. So, they've got some guys that just haven't been playing well. And I think when you look and offensively, it tells you when homegrown Blake Coleman is, tied for the lead in goals on that team, and that's not really what Blake does. He does a lot of other things. And then you've got a defenseman in Mackenzie Weegar who's a minus 18 or 19, whatever that may be, which I found I was looking at it this morning, and between Anderson and Weegar, I think Anderson's even, Weegar is 18 under par, but their partners, Anderson's partner is a +9, and Weegar's partner is even, I believe, something like that. So the disparity in the partners of these guys is crazy. But and again, I think everybody keep an eye on. I don't know if you never know where he's going to land. And Rasmus Anderson, you never know.
He's putting up some offense too.
What's that, Sam?
He's putting up some offense too. I think he's third on their team in points, something like that. 5 goals, 12 points, something like that. So maybe this is an audition for Rasmus Anderson for his future team.
Devin Cooley will get the start tonight. He has not made consecutive starts this season for the Flames. In fact, he's only made 10 starts in his entire NHL career. He's not a kid, though. He's 28, 6 years professionally. He's played made 12 appearances in the NHL for San Jose and also now for Calgary. But he's playing well this year. And here's what Ryan Huska said about why he's going back to Cooley tonight.
I feel like he deserves an opportunity to get in back-to-back, and we've done that in the past for our goaltenders, that when they've played well, I think you have to reward them. He's done an excellent job for us this year, and I think this was a good time for us to do that.
Sam, I'm going to you on this one. Tell me your best 30 seconds on Devin Cooley.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. He's playing great. And as you mentioned, this is only his 11th career start. But I'm just looking at his games. I was looking back at some of his stats. His first start this year against Utah had .935 save percentage in a loss. His second game against Ottawa, .921 in an overtime loss. His third start, Minnesota, .944 in a loss. .933 in his last game on the 19th in a win, finally. So he's been fantastic, whether the team wins or loses, which is pretty odd, because you look at Dustin Wolf, who was just right there for Rookie of the Year last year, and he hasn't been that great because you assume the team's not that great. They're allowing a bunch of goals. They're not giving him help. Your goalie's numbers are not going to be very good. So I know it's only been 4, maybe 5 starts in the season, but for him to be putting up those numbers despite the team losing, that's pretty damn good.
All right, a couple quick hitters. Let's start with Radek Faksa. He has 4 assists in his last 4 games. He had a huge play on the Colin Blackwell go-ahead goal on the other night against Vancouver. He's not on the roster to put up points, but those occasional contributions are huge from guys like him.
Well, I think back to that last assist, the assist you're talking about on the Blackwell goal. I mean, it was something that a Duchesne would be, who's day to day apparently. One of those kind of guys. There's a news flash. Matt is day to day. But yeah, you know what? I think when everybody else on the team are collecting points, and I think the fourth line guys, or whatever you want to call them, third, fourth line guys, are saying, listen, we can join the party too. So I just think it's all about everybody feeling about the same. And if whether Faksa and Blackwell and Steele or whoever it may be don't collect points, but they keep on winning the games, that's all that they really ultimately care about. But it's nice every once in a while to. Didn't Faksa have like a +4 game or something like that, like a couple of weeks ago or something too?
Faksa was. I'm trying to see,
because Petro was +5.
Oh, was it different?
Petro was +5, I thought, and I thought Faksa had a big plus-minus game.
He had the day that he had 3 assists, which was the Montreal game. He was also +3 in that game. Yes,
that's a season for me. That's a career high.
I love it. Go to Sam. Jason Robertson, up to 5-game goal streak. We went from a 9-game drought to now he scored in 5 straight, 9 goals over that span. And the question is, will he stop scoring? He looks like he is in full confidence mode right now.
Yeah, the key one for me, that last game, the goal he scored, right? The goals he's scoring are the ones you expect Jason Robertson to score. It's not like, you see him break out of a slump and he's getting a couple rebounds and he's just going to the hard areas to try to get out of a slump. He's putting pucks in corners, and that shot he has coming out of the corner, right? I think he scored it against Vancouver. He did it again at home. When he's coming out that quick and his head's not even up before he's picking that corner on the near side, that's Jason Robertson at his peak confidence. And we've seen he's not, I think I said this last time, he's not like Rope, where when he goes in a slump, he goes here and then he goes back down a little bit, and then he comes back up. but he does have his slumps. The thing with Jason Robertson is he has his slump. It gets, for him, extremely long. We're talking, 10 games for him without a goal is crazy now. And then all of a sudden he starts scoring and he just doesn't not stop. And he should have had another one at Vancouver, somehow didn't, but I don't expect him to slow down. That line has been so good, and it's making things even more interesting now. It's like, hey, Matt Duchene, if he ever returns, what do you do with the lines? Because now you're starting to find chemistry with a few other guys, and he's leading the charge with that.
He's got to be returning because he's not week to week. He's day to day, every day.
Every day. Luds, this is not totally tongue-in-cheek, but I believe that there's something going on with Wyatt Johnston. Now, it could be just a little blip, but he has 0 points in his last 3 games, which is his longest point drought of the season. Wyatt's fine, right? He's leading the NHL in power play goals.
Well, tell Ryan to stop. That's a lie. He just sent us all a text. That's a lie.
I saw it.
No chance.
Okay, well, he said you were +5 3 times in your career.
I don't know, but he's drinking or something.
That's easy to do. I can search it later, but let's talk about Wyatt real quick there, Let's.
It's easy to do.
What really stands out to me in his 3 games without a point is that he only has 2 shots on goal in those 3 games. He had, in the first 18 games of the season, he had 53 shots. That's almost 3 per game average. And he has 2 or more shots on goal in 15 of his 18 during that span. Why suddenly the low shot total and middle points from Wyatt Johnston?
Well, he's not playing with Mikko. I'm serious. How many times did we see? Didn't we think that there was a connection between Rantanen and him? I thought, oh my God, they're on the same page all the time. And now, but it's, I just think that, listen, everybody's going to go through a little bit of a drought, and Wyatt does so many other things that I'm not too concerned about him. I like what he's doing on entries on the power play and things like that. Yes, I know he had a little turnover last game or was a game ago or something like that. And it went down to the other rink, but I wouldn't be too concerned about Wyatt Johnston going any kind of a long-term slump here.
I found Lud's October 20th, 1993 at the Bell Center when he's playing for Dallas goes -4. What happened there, Lud?
That's the other way around.
Okay, yeah, because didn't Pancho there sitting in the studio say something about +5?
I haven't seen any +5.
He maybe said I was -5 in 3 games.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think Ryan's been drinking. Ryan's been drinking during college football today.
All right, so I have to look this up really quickly. How about that? We'll do that. We'll hit season range. We'll do all the dates all the way. But Led, you started in 1968, correct? That was your first year pro? Okay. He's right.
I think there was only 6 teams.
Okay. I'll give you a hint.
Early, right?
I was going to hit you with some random NHL news and notes, but this is way more funny. So, Lutz, you were playing for Montreal when you were 3 times a +5 in a game. Would you venture anything about opponent or year? 2 of them were at home at the Forum, and then 1 was on the road. Do you want to take any guesses, or do you want me to just tell you?
Well, I'm just trying to think who sucked then.
By the way, you had a goal in 1.
Huh?
You had a goal in 1 of them, and you had assist in 1, and you had 2 assists in the other. So you were productive point-wise.
So you're saying I owned that team?
Yeah.
Hartford was one of them. That was the second to the last time. December 22nd, 1984, home against Hartford.
No. I hate that song. Oh, my God.
Oh, Brass Bonanza. They played that in the on Razors Night last week.
I don't think it'd be Quebec, was it?
No,
it wouldn't be Boston.
The other 2 are the same team, and you're right. They probably weren't very good back then. 1983, October 19th, at the old Winnipeg Jets. You were +5. And then November 5th of 1988.
Oh, 1983, that's when I scored my first career goal.
That was your goal. And then in 1988,
and look at the Hall of Fame goaltender it was against. Look that one up.
That's easy enough to do.
That was a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
The box score of that one for the Jets says, it was Mr. Sotart.
No, it wasn't.
Was it Staniowski?
Yep.
Okay, so Sotart came in and gave up a couple goals, actually 4. You guys won 12-2.
Yep.
Woof.
I don't remember the game, but I have a plaque that our little buddy found in a dumpster for me. You know all that stuff of mine? Yeah, and it's got the assists on there. I think it was Larry Robinson, and I don't remember who the other one was. Or Flower or Lafleur or something like that.
Ryan wants you to know that you were -6 once as well.
Yeah, that was in New York. That was in New York on the island.
So how about that? He
I think
had
we lost 6-0 or something.
3 +5 games in his regular season NHL career. You're also +4, 4 times. So there you go. Offensive wizard. Things happen when Luds was on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
When you play with Chelios and Robertson. When you play with Larry Robinson and Chris Chelios, good things happen.
All right, fellas, that's going to do it for our time right now. But we have a full show. I promise I will be cooled down by then, unless Mikko Rantanen does something dazzling again like he did at the end of the Vancouver game. Stars and Flames. Can Dallas get off to a good start and keep the ex-wives tour going on a positive way for Glen Gulutzan? We'll find out. Thank you to Ryan Vaughters, our producer, for Yoshi, a.k.a. Proximity Sam, Craig Ludwig, and myself. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thank you for joining us on the DLLS Stars pregame show. Post-game show will follow what we call Stars After Dark.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys.